Thanks for taking the time, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, buddy.
Yeah, that was a great set. Was it last weekend? Yeah,
Uh,
last weekend.
Last Wednesday at Dave's show.
Yeah, I can't even remember what day it was. Yeah, it was a
It
Wednesday.
it
That's
was a
right.
Wednesday at Dave Marhaz's show.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that was epic. That was a great set.
hmm
Yeah. Um, anything we can't talk about,
Anything we can't talk about?
or that you don't want to talk about? Not that
Not
I have anything that's salacious.
not really. It's all open. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, listen, first off, I have to congratulate you on your stand-up special slash album,
Yeah. Thank you.
Misnationalized.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. That's your first?
That is my first album in 14 years. Yes.
So how does that come about? How do you decide I'm gonna make an album? It's very different than,
I mean, this is like different
you
for
know,
everybody else. You think that you have I would recommend that you have like 30 to 45 minutes to record,
yeah.
and you want it to be tight and good. And for me, it was never good enough. I remember recording something. Hold on, let me just turn this down so it doesn't disturb us.
Yeah, you did something in the
Seven,
end of last year, I think, right?
I did this. So this album that recorded that was released this year was recorded in November 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it took a while for the turnover.
Okay.
But I recorded something I believe in 2017, and I
Okay.
remember listening to that and I was like, no one can see this, no one can ever hear this.
No.
And it was a great set. I just felt it wasn't ready. A lot of people in Canada, at least, they release albums because they want like sound exchange money from Sirius XM. And
Okay.
yeah, well, for me, it has to be like something that I was like proud to release. And yeah, that's it took this long, and then the pandemic hit, so that slowed things down for like 2 years or
Yeah.
three, depending on who you ask. And yeah, here we are,
So
misnationalized.
so tell me about this Sirius XM money.
So I mean, it's money that you get for your album being played on Sirius XM.
Okay, simple as that. So it's like a musician having a song play.
Yeah, it's basically you get paid to be played on the radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was expecting your dog to come in camera, not your cat.
No, it's cat. It's right here.
So you have a cat, you have a dog?
Yeah. No, just my cat right now. Dog's not here.
Okay, okay. Dog's gone to get fixed. It humps you too much.
Yeah. Exactly.
This wasn't a question I wanted to ask, but just before this, I thought let me go check out this coverage of Donald Trump in court.
hmm
Stuff like that. Does stuff like that interest you at all from a comedian standpoint, or do you tend to
Zero
stay away
interest.
from news?
I don't care.
Does
All my
doesn't fit?
comedy is pertained to my own personal experiences or things I don't like. Politics are, for me, are just one person's it's like politics are uninteresting to me. So
Yeah,
I don't really care. Like I'm not gonna read about Donald Trump's trial and be like, I need to write jokes about this for
yeah.
the subject at hand I have to care about. But I really don't care about Donald Trump's trial, nor do I care about politics. So it's like I won't talk about it.
It won't be of interest to you. Yeah, it's
No,
interesting. I
zero.
mean, a lot of comedians sort of. I don't want to say a lot, but there are a bunch of comedians that will talk about the politics or different things like that. But I guess each comedian is different in terms of what drives them to make something funny or to talk about, I
Well, yeah,
guess.
everybody has different interests, and somebody might
Yeah.
be interested in politics. I do think it's not good for a comedian to try to be funny. Uh, I think if a comedian is trying hard to make a subject funny that they're not interested in, it
Yeah.
probably won't be funny.
Okay,
You gotta
cool.
really have personal ties to whatever they're talking about in order for it to be funny, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you said earlier you had a special in 2017 that you
Well,
didn't
I
release.
recorded something and
Yeah.
then I was like, I'm never releasing this.
So what made this different? What made this the one you wanted to release?
There was no
What were you
difference.
looking?
I just was more seasoned. I was just
Okay,
better. That's about it. And I just like it was time, and there was no really like I had to just get it out
yeah,
overdue at that
okay,
point. So
all right.
I just did it.
So 14 years ago, you said you've been doing this for 14 years.
Yeah, 14 years, I guess 13 and a half now, 14 years this October 2024.
Do you remember why you got started, or like was it something natural to you? Did you love the stage?
I was always funny.
Yeah.
And then I ended up wanting to do stand up for a long time. I never did it. It was too I just did spend most of my 20s and 30s partying in Montreal. And then I ended up in an acting class with a comedian named Sugar Sammy, who's like a real funny guy. He's like it's pretty big in Montreal, and he's like he does the Simon Cowell part in You Got Talent France. So
Oh wow, in France.
yeah.
Oh
So he
wow.
encouraged me to do stand up. And then it took me a year after that. My first time was in 2010. And then once I did it, I was like, I should have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah. What
Mhm.
what was the reason you weren't doing it when it was something you wanted to do? Was it just
I
getting on?
just caught
Was it
up in
stage
like,
funny or?
I think I was caught up in like Montreal nightlife, partying,
Okay.
drinking, doing drugs, stuff like that. Everything was tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. But
Yeah.
tomorrow was 15 years of my life that I never focused on anything.
What do you remember what it was about telling jokes on stage that you thought this is what I need to do
No, just it's like you get on stage and I really believe that you either know it's for you or not
right
immediately.
away?
And then I was just addicted and it just became the kind of stand-up comedy became the thing that was obsessive after that. I didn't care about anything else after that
Wow.
first time on stage.
So I first saw you at I think my favorite comedy show ever, which was I can't remember. I don't know if it was before the pandemic or a year after it started, but it was with Dave Merhesh
Hmm.
at a barber shop.
Oh yeah. So that was at my barber shop.
That was
That
your
was
barber shop.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's in the Junction.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rod Gun and Barber. Jay, thanks for the haircut. Trek always did good work, but you're not working the hair business anymore. Had to move on. Yeah, we just did it at the barber shop. Dave and I produced a show there where he headlined, and we had Jarrett Campbell hosting,
He was great.
and then Seema Safari did like like a little like a open.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I've seen her like on Rogers commercials since then.
yeah. She's an actor first, and she does stand
Okay.
funny girl, lady, funny, just comedian. I don't want to gender.
Yeah.
uh, and yeah, that was a show. I believe I offended a white woman in the crowd, and she left, if I'm not mistaken. And she thought she was a minority as a white woman, and I was like, "You're out of your fucking mind." And then she was appalled and left. And
She left her boyfriend or her date there or something.
yeah, I think so. She just left.
That
And
was
she had
hilarious. And she left the back door. She didn't leave
She
the
left by
front.
the back door because the front door was the stage. She would have to cross me. And she was a producer, she said, and I was like, I don't give a shit. I was like, I think you're fucked in the head to think you're a minority if you're a white woman. And yeah, that was that. She was getting mad that I believe I was I don't even know what I was talking about, but yeah, I remember her being very quite upset that I wouldn't include her as a minority.
Yeah. And I think what like you and Dave Jess, you guys were on fire that night.
Yeah, we had a good time. That was a great show.
Yeah.
Other than me upsetting that woman and her leaving, but we all had a good time once she left, so it was fantastic.
I thought so. I wanted to ask you about hecklers. I can't remember if she heckled you or if she was just upset.
I don't
But
remember
how
what happened, but she started talking, and then when we got to talking, uh, I started talking about I think I was talking about minorities, and she kept on insisting that she was a minority, and I go, well, where are you from? She goes, I'm from here, and I go, are you a white woman? She's like, yes, and she's like, white women are minorities, and I'm like, no, no, you're not. And then there was like a couple of like Muslim people there, and people were like, the people you could feel them getting uneasy, but I wouldn't let up. I was like, nah, you're not. I told her she's fucked in the head, and that upset her. And I think at one point I used the R word and she didn't like that, and that's when
Yeah.
she left in a kerfuffle.
Wow. So like how do you deal with does it bother you? Do you feed off of it? Like how does it mess with your timing or
I mean,
what you wanted to
hecklers
say?
always mess with anything you do.
Yeah.
It's not, no comedian should want hecklers. I mean, if we're
Sure.
talking to you and we're asking you questions, but if
Yeah.
you're just like yelling things and interrupting, then it's like, it's like every day different things can transpire, right? Most of the time I have fun with it because once you stop having fun on stage, it's not fun for anybody.
Yeah.
That's the key. But once in a while, a comedian, myself, we're having a bad day, somebody interrupts you and you snap on stage. And then the show gets weird because
Yeah.
you're having a bad day at work. It happens. And then what's insane is a lot of hecklers, most of them will come up to you and be like, that was a great show. And you're like, you heckled me the whole thing. And they're like, oh, I thought I was helping. And you're
Oh
like,
my goodness, you've had people say that.
most hecklers think that. And I'm always
Wow.
like, sometimes I just snap. I go, I just want to do my jokes missionary style. I do my jokes. You lie there with your legs open, you take it. Either you don't like it or not. You just don't tell me. Once I'm done, it's over. Like, I'm like, I don't need feedback. I don't want it. Take it or leave it. There'll be another comedian on stage, and if not, there's another night for you to enjoy somebody else. But fuck off. Like, I don't want to hear it personally.
I always have to be careful who I go to a comedy show with. If they're a talker, I get really nervous. I said we need to sit somewhere in the back, somewhere where it's dark, where no
Yeah,
one
yeah,
will see us.
it happens. And then there's like younger people who can't get off their phone and they sit in the front row and
Oh
there's
my
that kind of
goodness.
heckling. So there's different kinds of heckling. There's silent heckling as well.
Fair, yeah, fair enough. People that just won't even, yeah.
Well, they
Does this
first of all,
bother you? Like when people are cross-armed, like does that?
I mean, it's definitely, I always laugh at them. I'm like, what's wrong with you,
Yeah,
bro? Who hurt you? Like, it's like you paid $20 to come in here or 30 or whatever you paid and
yeah.
you're upset. I don't know what to tell you, man. We got to charge more to get these arms uncrossed. Like people, that's the thing is like, no, excuse me. Not everybody who goes to a comedy show is going for a comedy show. Some people wanted to go to the movies, they got talked into it, then they're already
Yeah.
coming like not happy that they're there. So it is what it is. You gotta like I said, the best thing to do is keep having fun because the audience is out of your control. It's the one thing in comedy that you cannot control. And
Yeah.
every time you're on stage, it's different jazz you're playing with when it comes to the audience.
Have you ever either performed or gone to the cellar in New York City?
No, zero. I've not ever performed in New York or in the United States.
Oh, okay. Um, I don't know if this is a Toronto thing or not, but every show I've been to in a Toronto club,
Right.
people got their phones out, they're taking pictures. When I go to New York and watch a comedy show, it's like that thing gets locked away. If anybody sees it, you're out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
What are your
like,
thoughts on the phone and the camera?
well, it's like the camera is like, what's it there? Are they taking a picture of the performer on stage? Are they filming their set? What are they doing with the camera? I've never seen it.
There were people taking photos of your show just now, like not your show, but on Wednesday.
Well, the thing is, they're taking pictures, and
Yeah,
what they do is they post it on social media,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and they tag me in it, and they
yeah.
say I'm killing, and then
You're good with that.
how am I gonna get mad at that? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah,
thanks for the appreciation,
yeah,
but there are weirdos that like I've seen that film people's sets.
yeah,
They're like, why are you filming my set? Also, I don't like my set being filmed because sometimes I might be doing new stuff that's not finished. So it's like weird for somebody else to film it, but
yeah,
you can't stop them from filming it.
yeah.
You can
That's
ask them not to film.
yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I just find it weird. But anyways, that's just me.
Hmm.
Um. So grew up in Montreal. Started in Montreal.
Hmm.
With Sugar Sammy at a class. Why Toronto? Why is this your
Uh,
place now?
about a year and a half maybe into comedy, I met Dave Mirage at in Montreal when he used to come.
Yeah.
And the first time I met him, he had won Just for Laughs Homegrown.
Okay.
And Homegrown is like a basically Just for Laughs used to have like upcomers that were Canadian
Yeah.
represent every city, and at the end of the night, one winner would be the homegrown champion or the homegrown winner.
Okay.
And Dave won it that year. I think I'd been in comedy maybe for like I think I'm oh yeah, I think actually it's the first year. So I was only into comedy for like maybe 8 months really.
Yeah.
And I met him and I go, "Why are you here?" And he goes, "I won homegrown." And I didn't know what it was. And he was like fascinated that I was in comedy, but I wasn't aware of like these the homegrown.
Yeah.
So he kind of explained it to me, and we spoke for like an hour and a half that first night that we met. And he told me, if I wanted to get good at my craft, that I should probably move to Toronto because there was more stage time. Because at the time in Montreal, you could only hit like one or two stages a week, and you were like a young comic in Montreal. There was not enough stage time at the time.
Okay.
So I made the move about I would say 8 months after that. Around I made the move in 2013. Yeah, so maybe
Wow.
like a year and a half after that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was it like a no-brainer? You just had to figure shit out,
yeah, I
or
just got like fed up of like I needed to get better at my craft, and I knew that I'd have more stage time in Toronto than I would in Montreal, and I just needed
yeah,
to get better. It's the
that's cool.
easiest answer for me.
Yeah,
I had to move.
you had to move. So Montreal, just for laughs. What are your thoughts on this whole just for laughs dying a slow death?
I mean, I think it's sad. I have fond memories of Montreal just for laughs. Like being a Montrealer, it was a go-to destination every summer for native Montrealers.
Yeah.
Get treated to having the best comics in the world there. Uh, and now it's the second thing that I love that Bell Media destroyed. So,
What was the first thing?
much music.
Oh shit, that's right.
So they bought the channel and they're like, yeah, why? We don't need to produce original programming. Let's just buy episodes of King of Queens and The Simpsons and play that on repeat. So, a lot of people will try to tell you like, oh, YouTube killed video channels, but I'm like, no, you and your greed decided not to pay for original programming anymore once you bought the station, and you decided it was cheaper to buy reruns of American shows. And that's if you go on Much,
Yeah.
now they call it Much. That's all it is. It's just American shows on rotation.
Wow, that's so true.
And,
Did you see that Much Music documentary that toured Canada? I think it was last year.
oh, I don't think I saw it.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was
But
very good.
it was one of my favorite things. It also had like Much Music promoted a star system with comedians in this country. A lot of people will get to do, video on trial and all these
Yeah.
things. And it'd give people national recognition, which would help them tour.
Especially comedians. There were a lot of comedians on that show.
And there's so many comedians on that show.
Yeah,
Throughout the 10 years that they were throughout 10 years for the duration they're on, they were always using comics for
that's
some
right.
relief, and people came on and were given a national platform, and they
Yeah.
took that away, and then they bought Just for Laughs, and they paired up with the American corporation. And also I think what didn't help is Netflix starting their own festival in Los Angeles. Because
Mm,
at the time, people were coming, all the agents, everybody was coming here to see new comedians.
Montreal, that's right.
But once Netflix started that festival in Los Angeles, it's like, well, why do we have to leave if they're all going to come here?
Yeah.
It's just and then I think like they're like 50, according to what you read, they're like in debt. So it's like I feel like maybe funds were mismanaged as well. It's just like it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
There's some comedians that are happy for some reason, but I'm not. I have, like I said, I have very, very fond memories of the festival and throughout growing up and my whole life. And yeah, I hope that they can come back.
At a time, even like where I'm sitting, it seems like there's a renaissance in comedy, right? There's, whether it's on Netflix or Prime or HBO or wherever, there's like comedians putting out specials.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
too saturated to, if I'm
yeah,
being honest. How many specials have you liked that you're like, this is garbage?
I don't watch all of them like I used to.
Right.
I used to look
Why,
forward when they come
well,
out. Now it seems
well,
like every week there's one.
why is that? Because they're not all good. If they're all good, you'd look
Yeah,
forward to watching them all. Now it's just like they need programming. A lot of the streaming service need programmings,
yeah,
sign people, a lot of it is that, unfortunately, like stand up is in a position, right? There is a renaissance era, but there is also like to the position where it's like we went through a phase of representation by any means necessary,
mm.
even if it meant that like it's not funny. They're like, well, look, we got a Chinese guy who like thinks he's Japanese. Let's put him on. So it's like it no, you don't come here, buddy. Um yeah, so it's yeah, I think it's sad. I can't even watch comedy specials.
Yeah.
I only watch the people I really, really look up to. But I mean, I've been doing comedy like almost every day for 14 years, so I'm kind of like jaded in watching it.
Who are the comedians you look up to? Whether
Uh,
international or locally, like who are your
so who are the favorite comedians that I know, or who are my favorite comedians that I don't know? What
let's
do you?
start let's start the ones that you looked up to as you were getting started. Let's start there.
So definitely like I would say Sugar Sammy, Dave Mirage, a
Yeah.
guy named Alex Pavone, uh,
Okay.
another person named Mark DeBonis, Steph Tolev, and another person named Nick Reynoldson.
Okay. These are the ones when you got started. These are the people that you were
It's
looking
just
up to.
like there was something like I learned a lot from watching all those people,
Yeah.
and then some of them are close to my heart as who I was as a human being.
Okay.
So they really taught me to exercise my voice and inspired me through watching them to discover who I was on stage.
Okay. And are
And then
they
yeah, sorry.
sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say who I like that's not that I don't know, but you were gonna ask.
Perfect. Yeah, let's start there.
Then I really loved Greg Giraldo, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill, Chappelle, Chris Rock, a huge Eddie Murphy guy, even though some people tell you some of his stuff is outdated, but it's like the first special I ever saw.
Oh my
First stand-up
goodness.
special I ever saw was Delirious. Actually, it was Raw. Then
Raw.
I did Delirious. I went backwards. But yeah, so for me, it was like the first guy I ever saw make me laugh. I was like 10 years old, crying of tears, like dying of laughter. Like I thought he was the
That was the funniest. His ice cream bit still
all that shit. Yeah.
gold. Like just
Yeah, yeah.
gold.
All that stuff. And then yeah, Chappelle, yeah, George Carlin, I liked a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were
Okay.
my go-to people that I do not know.
All right.
I'm a big fan of Kevin Hart, You So Crazy. That's like one of my favorite specials of
All right.
all time. I can watch that special and cry of laughter every time. Like that was him at his best.
Do you have an opinion on Cat Williams?
Yeah, he's very funny.
Did he just prank everybody with his going off on a rant or
I think whatever he did, he he did the right thing because he sold out all of his tour 10 times over. So regardless of what he said was true or not, he definitely marketed himself in a winning way for him. So kudos to that.
I thought he's pulling the wool over everyone said like none of this. He's called all his buddies and said, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do. Watch out."
Well, yeah, he's like, I read 8 books, 16 books a week, something like that. Like, he's like, no, bro, there's no way you read 16 books a week. Impossible.
That guy was hilarious. Oh my goodness. So what's next for you, Patrick? Is acting something you want to get into?
If
You
somebody wants
said
to
you've
give me
never
a
been to the
part and you're
US.
listening to this, please do. I'll be more than welcome to come in.
Okay.
I mean, I audition, I just never book anything. I'm very bad at the callback. The callback is always the worst because everything's on Zoom now. They're like, okay, your line of sight is the corner, and then they're like, some days it's the reader, and then I'm always like, what? What? I hate Zoom callbacks. I'm always like, I feel like an asshole every time I'm in one. And I'm like, and they go, I know it's not good when they make me do it once. They're like, okay, thank you, and I'm like, I'm not getting that. Uh, Basically, my album came out. I'm headlining at various clubs through Ontario and Quebec right now. And then I'm actually gonna get my O1 visa, and I'm gonna give New York a shot. It's a dream of mine, and
Okay.
I'm not getting any younger, and I want to give it a good effort before it's too late.
All right. So when are you planning to go to New York?
I have to get my own visa, so I'm in the
Okay.
application process.
That's in the process now. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And where, if people want to check you out at a show coming up, where should they go, whether they're in Toronto
Well,
or elsewhere?
tomorrow I'll be. I don't know when this comes out.
Good question.
So if it's not coming out tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, you can always catch me at various shows in Toronto. I am.
Patrick, do you want this to come out tomorrow? I could
No, no,
make
no.
it.
I'm just saying because you're asking me like where am I gonna be? I can tell you where I am tomorrow and this week, but if you want to look for me, I'm usually at my home club is the Corner Comedy Club, which
Okay.
is my favorite club in the city. It's like at a speakeasy. You come in from an alley and it's like the room is very tight and small. It's well lit. The wallpaper is all old LPs. And it's my favorite room in the city, and you'll catch some of the best comics on Friday, Saturday over there. And then you can catch me at Comedy Bar. I'm really like all over the city. Like if you just follow me on Instagram, you'll see me posting where I am, and you can just come catch me.
Where did you film your special?
I filmed out at the corner.
That was at the corner. I really that stage looked really, really nice.
Yeah, that corner is it's my favorite room. It's the best room in the city.
Where is the corner? Where can
So
you
the
find that?
corner is there's how Yuck Yucks is on Richmond?
Yes.
The corner's on Queen Street, but the entrance is in the alley between Richmond and Queen.
Richmond and Queen. Okay.
So right by Rudy's Burger.
Okay. I'll have to check that. I don't think I've ever been to that club.
You should, man. It's my most favorite club in the city.
Okay. We'll check. We will check it out. And if people want to check you out, Patrick, online so they
And
can
best place
catch
to go is to Instagram, Patrick Hakeem Bro, one word.
Patrick
And
Hakeem Bro.
yeah. And then I have Twitter. I don't tweet. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
TikTok. Every time I'm on, I'm like, I hate this. I'm not good with the social medias. I'm more of a stage comedian. I know it's not in today's climate. It's not the best thing because it's like now it's like theaters are being sold out by somebody who barely does stand up but does a video of putting on a wig and pretending to be an Italian mother. So it's like this is the world we're living in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
like everybody who built their craft on stage and that's amazing is like, oh, we don't want that. Give us the guy who does that
Here's the
does
wig.
yeah, give us the wig, and then the guy that does the wig does these jokes that he's never tried before, and it's like half an hour of mediocrity, and people are like, "We're gonna wait in line to take a picture with that guy," and you're like,
Nuts.
"But it's kudos to those people." But I'm not. I hate social media. I hate all. I hate videotaping myself. I hate. It's like I don't care. Like I just want to do stand up, but I know it's like now I got to make a video of me like having commentary or pretending to like sing a song, and I'm like I never wanted to do any of this shit. Why do I have to do it?
Just
And
want to
your
be on
agent is like,
stage.
you got to do that stuff. Get more of a social media presence, and you're like, why don't you get me more of a social media presence? You fucking put the wig and pretend you're your fucking ethnic mother. Fuck off. Like it's like I don't want to do that. Why do I gotta like do that? Like, it's like, or videos of me and my wife pranking each other like we're fucking in Kenny and Spenny. Like, who cares?
I want to ask you one last question, Patrick.
No problem.
Before I let you go, I also have a music podcast, and one of the questions that I ask is asking artists about their favorite story from a lost venue, a venue that happens to not exist anymore that they've performed at. I see you smiling a little bit. Do you have a lost venue story for comedy?
1,000%. One of my favorite venues of all time
Yeah.
was on Wednesdays. There used to be a show at the Fox and Fiddle at Kiel and Lawrence
Okay.
that was run by a young gentleman who was a friend of mine named Josh Elijah.
All
And
right.
that room was one of the grimiest rooms you'll ever do in the city. So it was attended by kids that go to, I believe there's a college by there, and there was always 2-for-1 fajita nights. And nothing is more distracting than sizzling plates coming to a table while you're on stage. People are just looking, they're like $14.99 for 2 fajita plates. They'd come, "Psst, your set's done, buddy." Everybody's looking at the sizzle. People want the sizzle. They start ordering sizzle. You're done. But there, that room was for some, there was a conduit for like craziness. There was once this man who was like yelling at the comics. He was hammered. He's like an older man, like must have been like in his 60s, hammered, drunk. And he stood up and he started yelling at us. And whoever's on stage, and we're in the back, we're like, buddy, take it easy. And I swear to God, he stood up and his pants did the old clown like, and his pants were around his ankles and he fell down. And like I've seen Mark DeBonis get threatened by Russian guys in that room that they were gonna kill him. I've
Whoa.
seen my friend Danny Polachek once, the guy called him fat on stage, and he looked at the guy and he goes, "Well," he goes, "You're not so svelte yourself." And then the guy got up and wanted to fight him. I've seen Keith Pedro get into it with a guy, and the guy rushed the stage, but it was Keith's birthday, and then
All his
20
buddies.
of Keith's hood Filipino friends from Jane and Finch were in the audience, and they all stood up and surrounded the stage, and the guy kind of like backed down. It was one of the craziest rooms. But I missed that room. That room was like one of my favorite mics. It was a great hangout. All my buddies used to go. It was actually my favorite open mic in the city for a very, very long time. And it was like a late one. It would start like at 9:30 and we'd stay there till like 2 in the morning. It was one of my favorite rooms.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought up Keith Pedro. His set is always fire.
Very funny guy.
That guy's hilarious. He's got his Instagram down pat. You should chat with him.
Yeah, Keith is very good at Instagram. He always tells me I need to post more. He always tells me that I'm not posting enough, and I'm like, it's like I just want to hire somebody to do it and AI me in, like just AI me being my mother with a mop on my head. Like it's okay. I just don't want to do the shit.
I hear you, man. Patrick Hakeem has been my guest. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for
You have yourself.
joining me.
Oh
Check
yeah.
him out. Oh, the balloon. Did you put the balloons up?
No, they come in like if you don't turn them off and you do like this, it does like
Let's see. Do I? You did the two
animated
fingers up. That was weird. That was
animated
cool.
emojis or you're like this. I'll do like different things, but the balloons came up, buddy, for you.
There you go. At the comedy, you can find him at the comedy bar. You can also find him at the corner.
Yeah, you can find
Uh,
me all over. Like if you're
find,
in Toronto, you can find me. I do so much comedy in this city that it's saturated. So
There you go. If you
it's like
don't
the
see
Netflix special, people.
the Netflix special of Toronto comedy,
Yeah,
Patrick
I'm just everywhere. It's like you're like,
Hakeem.
again, this guy. You're like, yep, here I am, bro. Always in your face.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming out. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. You have yourself a wonderful day.
Will do. You too.
Ciao, brother.
Ciao.